Apocalypse read by Swedenborg, chapter 18. And the fruits of the desire of thy soul have departed from thee, and all fat and splendid things have departed from thee, and thou shalt not find them any more signifies that all the beauties, beauties, how to pronounce,
Beatitudes.
beatitudes,
Beatitude.
all the beatitudes and felicities, beatitudes,
Beatitudes.
like bliss, beatitudes, and felicities of heaven, even the external, such as are desired by them, will altogether flee away, and will no longer appear, because they have no celestial and spiritual affections of good and truth. By the fruits of the desire of the soul, nothing else is signified but the beatitudes, beatitudes, beatitudes,
Beatitudes.
beatitudes and felicities of heaven, beatitudes and felicities, felicities,
Felicities.
felicities of heaven, beatitudes and felicities of heaven, because these are the fruits of all the things of doctrine and worship, which are treated of, and because they are the desires of men when they die, and also their desires when they first come into the spiritual world, by things fat and splendid are signified celestial and spiritual affections of good and truth. By fat things, the affections of good, as will be seen presently, and by splendid things,
Splendid.
It's about splendor. And by splendid things, the affections of truth, which are called splendid, because they exist from the light of heaven and its splendor in minds, whence are the intelligence of good and truth and wisdom. By departing and not finding them anymore is signified that they will flee away and will not appear anymore, because they are not in any celestial and spiritual good and truth. This is said even of the external things such as are desired by them, because no other beatitudes and felicities and affections are desired by them, but corporeal and worldly, and hence they cannot know what and of what quality those are which are called the celestial and spiritual. Celestial and spiritual. But these things will be illustrated by a manifestation of their lot after death. All of that religious persuasion who have been in the love of dominion from the love of self, and thence in the love of the world, when they come into the spiritual world, which takes place immediately after death, aspire after nothing but dominion and the pleasures of the mind from it, and the pleasures of the body from opulence. For the ruling love, with its affections of or lusts and desires, remains with every one after death. But because the love of dominion from the love of self over the holy things of the church and of heaven, all of which are divine things of the Lord, is diabolical. Therefore, after a certain time, they are separated from their companions and cast down into the hells. But still, because they have from their religious persuasion been in external divine worship, they are first instructed as to what and of what quality heaven is, and what and of what quality and felicity of eternal life is, that they are mere beatitudes flowing in from the Lord with everyone in heaven according to the quality of the heavenly affection of good and truth with them. But because they have not approached the Lord, and hence are not conjoined with him, and likewise have not been in any such affection of good and truth, they are averse to them, and turn themselves away, and then desire the pleasures of the love of self and the world, which are merely natural and corporeal. But because it is inherent, how to pronounce corporeal, like worldly, bodily,
corporeal,
physical, corporeal. But because it is inherent in those pleasures to do evil, especially to those who worship the Lord, and thus to the angels of heaven, they are therefore deprived of these pleasures also, and are then rejected among companions who are in contempt and misery in infernal workhouses. But these
Sir,
things,
oh, please forgive me. Do carry on. That was very negligent of me. Do forgive me. Sorry. If you don't,
actually,
that's completely fine.
it doesn't matter because it's more important because actually I want to read this book and I want to understand the mind of Swedenborg because I want to be more smart and wise because I believe in that if I will read his books I will be more smart and wise, and we can read together if you can.
Yes,
I can chat about different topics, but actually, because my mind is tired, because I'm just want to read and
yes,
to think about.
much understood. Yes, yes. I know. I mean, myself understands that rather. Yes.
Maybe can you read too? You can read from item 3, and we can discuss this book. Yeah.
Perhaps so. Yes. I just don't. I'm just preparing for either reincarnation or hellfire. That's what two opposing converse two incongruent viewpoints have kind of led me to a paradigm between and neither sound preferable given my life choices, and it's certainly not about me. Please do continue reading. I just didn't just trying to find
Okay.
answers to my own life. But have a good day, sir.
Okay. But and are then rejected among companions who are in contempt and misery in infernal workhouses. But these things are done to them according to the degree of their love and dominion over the divine things of the Lord, according to which degree is their rejection of the Lord. It may now these things that by the fruits of the desire of thy soul have departed, and all fat and splendid things fat. In spiritual sense, it's like full, and all fat and splendid things have departed from thee, and thou shalt not find them any more, is signified that all the beatitudes and felicities of heaven, even the external, such as they desire by them, will altogether flee away and not appear any more, because they are not affections of good and truth with them. That fat things signify celestial goods and their affections, and the enjoyments of their affections may be evident from the following passages. Attend unto me, yet ye that which is good, that your soul may be delighted with fatness. Isaiah 55:2. I will fill the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with good. Jeremiah 31:14. My soul shall be satisfied with fatness and fat, and my mouth shall praise thee with lips of singing. Psalm 63:5. They shall be filled with the fatness of thy. Fatness is like
Fatness.
fullness. Fatness is like maybe.
Obesity.
No, it's not like that, maybe. They shall be filled with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy delights. Psalms 36:8. And in this mountain will Jehovah make to all peoples a feast of fat things of marrow.
Marrow.
Marrow. Like brain, marrow. Of fat things of marrow. And in this mountain will Jehovah make to all peoples a feast of make to all peoples. Peoples like nations, maybe. And in this mountain will Jehovah make to all peoples a feast of fat things of marrow. Wow. They shall still have produce in old age. They shall be fat and green, in show that Jehovah is upright. The meaning of fat. It may now be evident from these things that like the fruits of the desire of the soul, the fruits of the desire of thy soul have departed, and all fat and splendid things have departed from thee, and thou shalt not find them any more. It signified that all the beatitudes and felicities of heaven, even the external, such as sorry, you are a robot. Your voice is like interrupting like a robot. Not understandable. All the beatitudes and felicities of heaven, even the external, such as are desired by them, will altogether flee away. Hey, children are screaming. Can you turn off your microphone, because children are screaming behind you? It's not good. Hey, Muslamic. Thank you very much. Because big noise. Who's noising?
Yeah.
Who's noising? Who's noising? Okay, I'm reading the book here, and we can read together. It's Apocalypse Revealed by Manuel Swedenborg. Actually, this book is about how can you make the world a better place. It's about everything. And It may now be evident from these things that by the fruits of the desire of thy soul have departed, and all fat and splendid things have departed from thee, and thou shalt not find them any more. It is signified that all the beatitudes and felicities of heaven, even the external, such are desired by them, will altogether flee away, and not appear any more, because there are no affections of good and truth with them. That fat things signify celestial goods. We should understand the meaning of fat things. It's fat things signify celestial goods, and their affections and the enjoyments of their affections. And it may be evident from the following passages. Attend unto me, eat ye that which is good, that your soul may be delighted with fatness. In the sense, it's about delightness from eating that which is good. Eat ye that which is good, that your soul may be delighted with fatness. Isaiah 55:2. I will fill the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with good. It's about, we can say in this passage, the meaning of to be filled with fatness, like when my soul is filled with fatness, it's about celestial good, celestial goods and their affections, and the enjoyments of their affections. Wow. Jeremiah 31:14. My soul shall be satisfied with fatness and fat, and my mouth shall praise thee with lips of singing. Psalm 63:5. They shall be filled with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy delights. It's about fatness too. They shall be filled with the fatness of thy house. And in this mountain will Jehovah make to all peoples a feast of fat things, of marrow. Feast of fat things. They shall still have produce in old age. They shall be fat and green, to show that Jehovah is upright. Psalms 92:14-15. It is about the meaning in this passage. We can see the meaning of fat. Fat. What does it mean to be fat? In spiritual sense. In the feast which Jehovah will make, they shall eat fatness to satiety. What is satiety? It's like satisfaction, maybe. No.
Satiety.
Satiety, like feeling of satiety, like satiation. Satiation.
Satiation.
Satiation. Satiety, satiation. They shall eat fatness to satiety, and shall drink blood to drunkenness. Satiety. It means that they shall eat fatness to satiety. It's about delightful. It's about, once again, it's about It's about celestial goods and their affections and the enjoyments of their affections. What it means. They shall eat fatness to satiety and shall drink blood of drunkenness. Ezekiel 39:19. Jehovah will make fat thy burnt offering. Psalms 23. As fatness signifies celestial good, it was therefore a statute that all the fat of the sacrifices should be burnt upon the altar. Exodus 29:13-22. Leviticus 1:8. 3:16, 4:8-35, 7:34, 30:31, 16:6, 17:6, Numbers 18:17-18. By fatness, in the opposite sense, they are signified who are nauseated at good. What is nauseated?
Nauseated.
Nauseated is like disgust. Nauseated. By fatness, in the opposite sense, they are signified who are nauseated at good. Nauseated at good, and because it is very abundant, despised and rejected. Deuteronomy 32:15, Jeremiah 5:28, 15:11, Psalm 17:10-23, 17:8, 31, 119:70. Any comments maybe? Verse 15. The merchants of these things who become rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment. Weeping and mourning signifies the state before damnation, and then their fear and lamentation who have made gain by various dispensations and promises of heavenly joys. Merchants of this
No.
dispensation. Hello.
Hello.
I'm reading the book here. If you want to read too, you can read in your turn.
I can listen.
It's about spiritual meaning of the book of Revelation of the Bible. It's Apocalypse revealed by Manuel Swedenborg.
All right.
Read verse 15. The merchants of these things who became rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment. Weeping and mourning signifies. We should understand. Are you familiar with the book of Revelation of the Bible?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay, that's very good. Because it's about spiritual meaning. Swedenborg wrote only about spiritual meaning, and a lot of great people were influenced by books of Swedenborg. And if you want to make the world a better place, we can understand his point of view. And it signifies the state before damnation, and then their fear and lamentation who have made gain by various dispensations and promises of heavenly joys. By the merchants of these things, namely of the fruits of the soul's desire, and of fat and the splendid things treated of in the verse next preceding, though those are signified who by various dispensations and promises of heavenly joys became rich, that is, who made gain. By these merchants all are meant, as well the higher and the lower in the ecclesiastical order, who made gain by such things, that the higher are included, is manifest from verse 23 of this chapter, where it is said, "For thy merchants were the great ones of the earth, that the lower ones also are included," from verse 11, see above. By standing afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and mourning is signified while they are still in a state remote from damnation, and still at the time in fear of punishments, and in lamentation as above, where similar things are said. As regards the dispensations by which they make gain, they are various. There are dispensations in regard to contracting matrimony. What is matrimony? Matrimony.
Matrimony.
Matrimony. It's like marriage. Matrimony.
Matrimony.
Matrimony. Matrimony. And there are dispensations in regard to contracting matrimony within the degrees prohibited by the laws, relating to divorces, relating to evils, even enormous ones. Enormous. Like
Enormous.
enormous, like huge. Even enormous ones. And then liberation from temporal punishments, then also by indulgences, dispensations relating to administrations without any power or authority of the secular rulers, among which also are confirmations of dukedoms. What is this? Dukedoms.
Dukedoms.
Dukedoms, like princes. Confirmations of dukedoms and principalities. Principalities. And principalities, likewise by promises of heavenly joys made to those who enrich monasteries, and augment. What is this? Augment, like increase. And augment their treasuries, calling their gifts good works in themselves holy, as also merits, to which they are led by their belief impressed concerning the power and help of their saints and in the miracles performed by them. Especially do they plot against the rich when they are sick, and likewise infuse at that time a terror of hell, and so extort from them, promising the sacrifice of the mass for their souls according to the value of their legacy, and a gradual delivery thereby from the place of torment, which they call purgatory, and thus admission into heaven. As regards purgatory.
Purgatory.
Thank you. Purgatory. It's like Catholic stuff, yeah? Catholic. They believe in purgatory. As regards purgatory, I can aware that it is aware, like awareness, yeah, awareness.
Other.
No, aware like claim, proof. I can aware that it is purely a Babylonish fiction for the sake of gains, and that it neither does not and it neither does nor can exist. Every man after death first comes into the world of spirits, which is midway between heaven and hell, and is there prepared either for
Hello?
heaven. Hello.
Let's talk about politics. Who wants to talk about politics with me?
Politics. I'm reading this book, and actually this book is about
Yeah, well, it's not a
politics
reading.
too.
This Discord is not for reading. It's just for talking about politics, my friend. And I'd like to talk about politics. If you'd like to read, you can go to one of the chill channels where you can read in peace. This politics is for discussion about
Okay.
politics, religion, and philosophy. No, it's not your personal reading channel. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can read in it if we like.
I'm such an asshole.
Yes, you are.
I'm such an asshole. I'm so funny.
Okay. Okay, I'm starting. As regards purgatory, I can aver that it is purely a Babylonish fiction for the sake of gains. Yeah, because it's about gains. Yeah, fiction for the sake of gains, and that it neither does nor can exist. Every man after death first comes into the world of spirits, which is midway between heaven and hell, and is there prepared either for heaven or for hell, everyone according to his life in the world. And in that world, no one has torment, but the evil first come into torment, when after preparation they come into hell. There are innumerable societies in that world, and joys in them similar to those on earth, for the reason that they who are there are conjoined with men on the earth, or also who are also in the midst between heaven and hell. Their externals are there successively put off, and thus their internals are opened, and thus until the ruling love, which is indeed the life's love, and the inmost, and the one that governs their externals is revealed, and when this is revealed, the man's real quality appears, and according to the quality of that love, he is sent forth from the world of spirits to his place, if good into heaven, and if evil into hell. That it is so has been given to me to know of a certainty, how to pronounce certainty, yeah. To know of a certainty.
Certainty.
Certainty. To know of a certainty, because it has been granted to me by the Lord to be together with those who are in that world, and to see all things, and thus to relate it from experience itself, and this now for 20 years. Therefore I can assert that purgatory is a fiction, which may be called diabolical, because it is for the sake of gains and for the sake of power over souls, even of the deceased after death. Deceased.
Deceased.
Deceased, like dead. Deceased after death. Verse 16. Can you read, maybe? Next verse, verse 16.
Nah, I don't really feel like reading. I got a headache.
Okay. I read. Verse 16. And saying, woe, woe, that great city, arrayed in fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and inwrought with gold, precious stone, and pearls, because in 1 hour so great riches are devastated, signifies grievous lamentation that their magnificence and gains are so suddenly and totally destroyed. By woe, woe, grievous lamentation is signified as above. By that great city is signified the Roman Catholic religious persuasion, as it is said to be arrayed in fine linen and purple, and inwrought with gold, which cannot be said of a city, but of a religious persuasion. By arrayed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and inwrought with gold, precious stone, and pearls, are signified similar things as above. Where are the same words in general magnificent things in external form, Because in 1 hour so great riches are devastated signifies that their gains are so suddenly and totally destroyed. By 1 hour is signified suddenly and totally as above, because by time and all the things of time states are signified. It is manifest from this that the things which are adduced above are signified by these words. Very similar things are said of the devastation of Babel in Jeremiah. The land of Babel is full of guilt against the Holy One of Israel. The thoughts of Jehovah stand against her, to make her a desolation. They shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation, for thou shalt be a waste for an age. Babel shall become heaps, and habitation for dragons, and astonishment and hissing. Babel is reduced to desolation. The sea goeth up over her, she is covered with the multitude of the waves. Her cities are reduced to desolation, a land of drought and of solitude. Jeremiah 51:5, 26, 29, 37, 41, 43. Verse 17. And every pilot, and everyone, pilot and everyone employed upon ships and sailors, and as many as work at sea, signifies those who are called the laity, as well they who are appointed in greater dignity as those that are in less, down to the common people who are attached to that religious persuasion, and love and kiss it, or acknowledge and venerate it in heart. From the 9th to the 16th verse, the clergy are treated of, who have been in dominion from that religious persuasion, and have exercised the Lord's divine authority, and by it have made gain of the world. Those are now treated of who are not in any order of their ministry, but still love and kiss that religious persuasion, and acknowledge and venerate it in heart. Venerate.
Venerate.
Like honor, revere, worship. And acknowledge and venerate it in heart, who are called the laity. By every pilot are meant the highest of them, who are emperors, kings, dukes, and princes. By everyone employed upon ships, those are meant who are in various functions in a higher or a lower degree. By sailors are meant the lowest, who are called the common people. By as many as work at sea, are meant all in general who are attached to that religious persuasion, and love and kiss it, or acknowledge and venerate it in heart. That all these are here meant is manifest from the series of things in the spiritual sense, and from the signification of being upon ships, and of being employed upon ships, and of sailors, and from the signification of them that work at sea. By the pilots of ships and those employed upon them, and sailors, no others can be meant but those who contribute the things which are above called merchandise, which are those things which they collect into their treasuries, as also possessions, and who receive benedictions and Beatification. What is it? Benedictions.
Benedictions.
Benedictions, like blessing. Benedictions. And beautification.
Beatification.
What is that? Beautification. Maybe in dictionary, beautification. It's about beauty. Beautification. To make supremely happy. To declare to have attained the blessedness of heaven and authorize the title blessed and limited public religious honor. Beautification, benedictions and beautification. Benedictions and beautification in return as merits and other similar things which they desire for their souls. And when this amend, it is manifest that by every pilot, the highest of them amend, by everyone employed upon ships, all in offices subordinate to them, and by sailors the lowest. That by ships spiritual merchandise is meant, which are the knowledges of truth and good, may be seen above. Here natural merchandise, and they take back so they think. The reason that by as many as work at sea, I meant all, whoever they be who love and kiss that religious persuasion, or acknowledge and venerate it in heart, is because that religious persuasion is signified by the sea, for by the sea the external of the church is signified. Because what is the meaning of the sea? It means the external of the church, external. And this religious persuasion is merely external. Similar things are signified by this in Isaiah. Thus said Jehovah your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, for your sake have I sent to Babel, and will cast down all her bars, whose cry is in the ships. Thus said Jehovah, I who have given a way in the sea and a highway in the mighty waters. 43:14-16. A cry in the ships is spoken of, as here also that they stood afar off and cried from the ships, and likewise in Ezekiel. At the voice of the cry of thy captains, of thy at the voice of the cry of thy captains shall the suburbs, what is suburbs?
Suburbs.
It's like a neighborhood. Suburbs. Shall the suburbs tremble, and all that hold the oar shall come down out of thy ships, and the sailors and captains of the sea, and shall cry bitterly over thee. What is oar? Or is like it's about ship. But it's Ezekiel 27, 28, 30. But this is concerning the devastation of Tyre, by which the church has to the acknowledges of truth and good is signified. But it is to be known that no others are here meant, but those who love and kiss that religious persuasion, and in heart acknowledge and venerate it. But they who are in the same religious persuasion and acknowledge it indeed because they were born and brought up in it, and do not know anything of their devices and snares, for arrogating to themselves divine worship. Arrogating,
Arrogating.
arrogating, like appropriating, arrogating,
Appropriating.
appropriating. For what are you laughing at?
Is this the book club?
Actually, I'm just chilling and relaxing by reading this book. And yeah, if you want to read, you can read too. Maybe we can discuss this book.
What book is it?
It's Apocalypse Revealed. It's about spiritual meaning of the Book of Revelation of the Bible.
No,
like
I'm not spiritual.
Inner meaning. Actually, Swedenborg writes about logical and rational understanding of the Bible. Actually, it's about how can we make the world a better place, like this. Maybe it's about people and politics, and it's about everything. It's about politics, and it's about building an ideal just society here on this planet Earth. It's about how can we change the world and make it better, like this maybe.
Well, you don't need the Bible for that.
Because
it only became worse since the Bible.
Because Bible is like a wise book, and if we can build an ideal just society, like perfect society, only from wisdom and intelligence and intellect. Yeah, and if I read Bible, I believe that I can be more wise and smart from reading smart and wise books. And Bible is a wise book. And books of Swedenborg are
But there has been so much killing in name of Christianity. So why do you think it will be a better place then?
Because they didn't understand the Bible in spiritual sense. That because they understood Bible in the literal sense, but the letter of the law contradicts the spirit of the law. But Bible is a spiritual book, and Jesus was teaching about the spirit of the law. And every judge must know that contradiction between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, to judge rightly and correctly, like this.
Shouldn't we better take the Quran then?
Quran?
Yeah.
Quran is a spiritual book too, but Swedenborg wrote about spiritual meaning of the Bible.
Which book is thicker?
Thicker?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Quran, yeah?
Oh, then we better take the Quran. We have more to read.
I don't know, the church removed more than half of the Bible.
Why?
Either to hide the truth or to make it easier for them to corrupt the text, because they changed many things. Like, the name of the Messiah is Yeshua. They call him Jesus Christ, and Christ is another name for Zeus. And Jesus literally translates to Hail Zeus. They also changed the name of God too.
Isn't that expensive to change your name every time?
I think it's crazy too because they don't include the Book of Enoch or Melchizedek.
Enoch, is
The
that
standard
the guy
canon,
we
even
talked
though
with on Edgy?
no, there's a book in the Bible called the Book of Enoch.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they don't include it in the regular Bible, even though the scriptures that remain in the Bible both make a reference to Enoch and Melchizedek. But the church refers to them as either Gnostic or heresy.
Okay. Can you continue maybe? Yeah? Maybe someone wants to read too?
Yeah, Ernie can read.
No, I volunteered Discord Connected.
No, it's not my first language. So
It's
you
not
have
his
to do
first
it,
language
Ernie.
either. I don't think it's his first language either.
No, but he's much better with the language.
Hmm?
It's a good way to learn English from books.
Yeah, but I like cartoons.
And
Donald Duck.
okay. Dark? Sorry, what? What I say?
Donald Duck. Don't you know Donald Duck?
No, I didn't read that.
Do we only have that here?
What's it called?
Donald Duck.
Oh, Donald Duck.
Yeah.
E. There's also Darkwing Duck.
Let's read, because this is the topic of this channel today. We can discuss this book. If you have any thoughts
what is the topic?
Comments. Topic
the topic is Outback.
It's a discussion about this book. It's a very this book, and if you have any comments, if you have any thoughts, you want to share your thoughts, you can say your understanding of his understanding of scriptures, for example, because Swedenborg writes about logical and rational understanding of scriptures. It's about now. It's not about future. It's not about past. It's about now. It's about what is going on right now, and how can we make the world a better place. For example, how can we stop wars? How can we remove hatred from the world like this and hostility like this?
Well, that's easy when you want that to.
Yeah, I want that. I want to make the world a better place, and a lot of people dreams about that. People and nations and peoples dream about that. For example, if you are familiar with a song of John Lennon, Imagine.
All the people.
And John Lennon.
I thought you were going to sing.
John Lennon sings that the road of such
all the people.
dreamers. Imagine, do you know that song? Like, do you understand the meaning of that song?
It starts with Imagine all the people.
It's about imagine that there is no countries. no countries, like no borders, and all people live in peace like this. If we can imagine that, it means we can imagine that how the kingdom of God works, and we can imagine that the kingdom of God is an ideal, just society Jesus was teaching about, and a lot of people dream about that. I mean, this idea is demanded in the world.
Yeah,
I
they
mean, the
should
idea
stop
of
dreaming about it.
stop dreaming, but people want to live in just society, yeah. But we have countries and borders, and
but when you dream it, it's not real.
Yeah, and we can say that there are a lot of injustice in the world. But
that's
how
why
can
I say
we...
you better can stop dreaming about it. Better act like it.
And this is the first step. If you want to change the world, if you want to make the world a better place, the first we should dream about that. And the first step is to imagine that. Because of your imagination, you can understand how the kingdom of heaven works, because the kingdom of God is the perfect kingdom. Yeah, because God is perfect, and His kingdom is perfect too. And we can imagine that. And books of Swedenborg and Bible help us to imagine that. And if we can imagine that, it means that our brains and minds work about that, and we can create a program, like a political program, and we can unite people by that ideas, because human societies are information things. I mean, people are information beings, and if we have any perfect idea, like good idea, that idea can unite people. And Jesus wanted to unite people and to make
I
them
want to
one.
believe you, but I have to ask Ernie first. Ernie, where did you dream about?
I don't recall my dreams for the past few days. I haven't been dreaming.
Why not?
I don't know.
You know it is important to dream.
This. It's a song, imagine. Shakira sang the song in General Assembly of United Nations General Assembly. Shakira singer. It means that a lot of nations dream about the same thing John Lennon sang.
Not Russia.
Imagine John Lennon. Imagine John Lennon lyrics. And we can see the lyric. It says, how do you understand that? Imagine there is no heaven. You can see. Imagine there is no heaven. It is easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there is no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I am a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. You see, he says, I hope someday you will join us and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I am a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. How do you understand that?
Do you understand it?
Yes.
He's
You see
singing
his...
that when there is no religion, there's no fighting and no war.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
I can.
No, if there was no religion, there would be lots of strife going on. People would be stealing
No,
and
Ernie,
doing
you don't know
awful
it,
things
Ernie.
because there would be no reason not to.
You don't know that, Ernie. You're not stealing.
Maybe if you want to build because we can say that John Lennon sang about an ideal living in an ideal just society. Yeah, can we say? Because and he thinks that you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. You see, he means that there are a lot of such dreamers in the world who dream about the same thing. It means this idea is demanded. Yeah, but this is the first step to build that ideal just society. If you can imagine that.
Yeah, but he's singing about a society without any religion.
Maybe any religion system, because yeah, I mean the first, if you want to
you can read to say, imagine there's no countries, it isn't hard to do, nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living in peace.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
So how would you live with no possessions, no house, no dishes to eat with, nothing to cook on?
It means you don't.
Food in.
You mustn't be so materialistic. How do you call that?
Do you mean you cannot imagine that? You say it is impossible, yeah, yeah. But maybe it is possible to imagine that, because within our imagination we can have everything. But you can say it is impossible, yeah. But you can imagine that, because if you can imagine that, it is impossible. It is possible, or not? I mean, what is impossible in the kingdom of God? I mean, does the kingdom of God have religion or not? Because maybe God is not about religion, like religion system.
There has never been peace with religions. And it doesn't make out what kind of religion.
Yeah, maybe
it's never peace. It's always war. Religion and war are equal to each other.
But what we should understand his point of view. he doesn't. He says us. John Lennon says us. Imagine that. The name of the song is Imagine. Okay. Can you, because do you see, if there is no heaven, imagine that there is no heaven. It means if there is no heaven, you have no need for wait for the life in heaven. And if you understand that heaven doesn't exist, it means that you understand that it is your responsibility to build heaven here on earth. If heaven doesn't exist, but we should understand the meaning of heaven. And if heaven is like a perfect ideal society, and if you understand that heaven does not exist, like there is no heaven, but what should I do? But I can imagine that there is no heaven, but
you should become an atheist.
It's not about atheism. It's about understanding that heaven is here on the earth. Heaven is not there in the sky. It is here on this planet Earth. It is our responsibility to make the world a better place. You understand? Because a lot of people are waiting for the heavenly life, and they're like lazy here on this planet Earth. They think that, in future, in the next life, we will be happy, but here it is impossible to make heaven here on earth real. But what is impossible for God? The first step to understand that God builds His kingdom here on this planet Earth. God creates heaven here on this planet Earth. But to make you able to understand that, the first step, you should imagine that if there is no heaven, imagine that. John Lennon doesn't say that there is no heaven. He just say, imagine there is no heaven. And what should you do? This is a difference. It makes us reasonable people, if you can imagine that. Because, okay, if you think that, there is heaven, okay, but there is a lot of injustice in the world, and you think, okay, in the next life, I will be in heaven, and I will be happy there. And this is a wrong thinking. Yeah, because your mind became lazy. You think that you cannot change the world. You believe in that. But it is possible for us to change the world, to make the world a better place. And if you understand that there is no heaven, it means that you can understand how can you make the world a better place. Can you understand that?
No, I don't understand. How can you imagine there is not something? When I say to you, imagine there is don't imagine a blue elephant. What do you see before you in your eye?
I see. If you say me, imagine that elephant, yeah? I see that elephant.
I said, don't imagine a blue elephant.
Don't imagine. Okay, don't imagine.
What do you see in your mind? I mean, you cannot imagine something not to be there.
I don't see that elephant because I don't imagine that. But if I can, okay. Once again,
even when I say don't imagine, you will see a blue elephant.
But why do I need to have blue elephant? I have no reason to have it.
Well, I'm only saying that you cannot not imagine something.
Because
when you say when the first line when you say imagine there's no heaven.
Yeah.
You already
Imagine.
have a
This
heaven
is a-
in mind. So you cannot imagine not a heaven.
Yeah, yes. And if there
It's
is no heaven,
impossible.
it mean, but maybe it is possible for you to create heaven, because heaven is not a
It's
place.
no, the first sentence is a mindfuck.
You know, because children play games, yeah, and children think that that war they play is real, but
Yeah.
but because children have great imagination, and when children play games, that games became reality for them. That because
Mm-hmm.
within our imagination we can build heaven. Now, it's like about the first we should have idea about heaven, because if you think that there is heaven, okay, and heaven is like any perfect country, yeah, because for example you live in perfect country, and you can say my country is not perfect, there is a lot of injustice in my country, but someone says to you, oh, you know, there is a perfect country, and after your death you will live in that perfect country and you will be happy there. And maybe that man wants to deceive you and to make you a slave, because if you
Right.
if you will live by the dream in future after death, it means that you think that you cannot do something here on this planet Earth, and you cannot change your country, your own country, to make your country such perfect as that country. Do you understand what I mean? Because you live
Yeah.
by your dream, and you don't want to do something here in your country, because you think, oh, my country is not perfect, but that country is perfect, and after death I will live in that country. But maybe that man who is talking to you about that country is a liar, and maybe that country doesn't exist. And if you understand that that perfect country doesn't exist, it means your dream is broken. And what should you do? What should you do? Maybe you can realize your dream. Maybe you can make your dream real in your country, and to make your country perfect. Do you understand?
Yeah, but perfect is very subjective.
Yeah. And he says there are a lot of dreamers, because if dreamers about that, people dream about that. Yeah, he says, because you know, if you think about heaven, that you will live in heaven after death, it means your mind is lazy. You don't have heaven right now because heaven is near. It's not about future, because heaven is here. Heaven is an ideal, just perfect society. But why it is impossible to build that ideal, perfect society here on this planet Earth, in your country?
Are you telling me
Why
that
do you want?
I'm in
Why
heaven
do you want to
already?
immigrate?
Do
Yeah,
you
for
tell me
example,
I'm in
let's say,
heaven already? I
are
don't
you
understand. Why is evil Ernie then here? Ernie?
sorry? Say that again. Sorry, I didn't catch.
You're saying you're already in heaven.
I'm ready. Am I ready? Yeah, am I ready?
You say
Yes.
we are in heaven already?
Already. Because Jesus was saying, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is near.
But
It's near.
how can we be in heaven now?
We can be in heaven within our imagination.
Yeah, but not with the evil Ernie here in this VC.
I mean, the first step, because children play games. Yeah, children play games, and when children play games, it means they develop their imagination, and within their imagination, they can have everything they wish. Yeah, because our imagination.
Do you know why children can do that? Did you think about that?
I think it is possible for them, but it is not. Maybe if you train our imagination, it can be possible for us too, to create that ideal just society within our dreams and imagination, because we can dream about that.
No, children can do that because they're not conditioned.
But
and
John Lennon,
things like religion are instruments to condition people.
Okay, if you think about God and you put your hope in God, yeah, you put your trust in God, but what if God doesn't exist? John Lennon tries to explain us. If God doesn't exist, if heaven doesn't exist,
yeah,
it means you should create heaven and God. You think it is impossible for you, but maybe it is possible for you if you can imagine that. I mean, you should create that heaven and God within your imagination.
I can do that, but I can't do that with evil Ernie here in this VC.
You can do everything in your imagination because your imagination is unlimited.
So I should think that evil Ernie is not in this VC then.
Yes, I am a figment of your imagination. I do not exist. I am not here. I'm always away.
I mean, the point of view of John Lennon is to explain us that we can have everything we wish and need within our imagination. And this is the first step. How can we make our imagination real in this material world? Because this is the first step. You should dream about that. You should imagine that, and within your imagination, you can build your hope, your dream. You can make your dream real within your imagination, and after that, you can make your dream real in physical world. This is
indeed step. without religion and without a heaven.
Yeah, and it means that heaven is here, because do you see, he says, imagine there is no heaven, but maybe heaven is here. We can imagine that heaven is here. If you can imagine that there is no heaven, it means that you can imagine that there is heaven right now in your life, yeah, and you can create your own heaven. Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
Heaven? No?
I totally agree with you.
Because heaven is about happiness. Can you imagine your life here on this planet Earth in happiness? Can you imagine you're happy in your earthly life? When can you be happy here on this planet Earth? Because I can imagine that. I can imagine if I will have comradeship like this, if I will have any perfect ideal just society, and if I will live in that perfect ideal just society, I will be happy there. And I can imagine, I can develop my imagination. How can I create that perfect ideal just society here on this planet Earth? I should have
you make me happy.
Accurate plan about that. If you don't have plan, like accurate plan about that, it means you cannot be a president of your country, for example, because you don't have accurate plan about that. you don't have program. The first you should have your own program. How are you going to change your country, like your society? And you should imagine that. If you want to change the world, if you want to make the world a better place, the first you should imagine that within your mind. But if you cannot imagine that, it means you cannot be a president of your country and a president of the whole world.
What the hell you're talking about, mate?
It's about the song of John Lennon that you can see on the stream. It says, how do you understand the song? It says, imagine there is no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Are you from Poland?
Poland?
Yeah.
Me? No,
Yeah.
I don't say where I'm from. I don't say. Actually.
Oh, you did the same as Manui.
Because it doesn't matter. I don't represent myself. I represent Manuel Swedenborg and his books, actually. And I think this song. I mean, this song is very popular in the current time. Because it's about. Because we it's popular. You see, it's like imagine there is no countries. Is it good or not? Can you say imagine there is no countries? Is it good to have no countries? What about that? Is it good to have a lot of countries, like?
I don't know.
A lot of...
When there are no countries, people are going to create countries.
Why do we need to have countries? Why do we need to have...
It is better that you have a balance in things.
Maybe it is good to have one country in the world, with one language, without borders. Can you imagine that? You are a citizen of the world. You're not a citizen of your country, but you are a citizen of the world.
Dude, I love your Zimbabwean accent.
That'd be quite good, man. That'd be quite cool.
Hey.
No borders. No wars. No taxes. No hard work.
Is that Mickey?
Wait, no hard work?
Hello, Mickey.
Yeah. How would you keep the food going? You know, how would you keep the food going? How would you keep the country going?
The government provides for him. He's that kind of guy. Well, the government must look after me. Yeah, it's the government's problem.
We have all robots that do that.
The robots haven't been made yet, though, mate.
Like, the robot feeds me and the robot fornicates me. That's this kind of guy. He's like that. He's like that. Like Matrix style, you know?
Too good, man.
Man, you must live in La La Land if you think there's no hard work.
And he says, imagine. He says, imagine no possessions. Imagine no possessions.
You don't need them.
Wait, who's he?
Everything is for rent.
Yeah, what are you reading? Like, who is this he you're talking about?
You cannot own anything.
John Lennon's song, imagine.
John Lennon was a dumb communist, man. What does he know? The guy grew up wealthy. He had a bunch of women catering to his musical talents. The guy never did hard work in his life, okay? He had baby hands. He didn't have manly hands. He had baby hands. Yeah. The only thing he did was make stupid music and consume drugs. That's all he did. What did he contribute? Nothing. Nothing. Did he raise children? No, he didn't. He did drugs. That's what he did. Really? That's gonna be your role model?
But he was very popular in the world.
Yeah, you know who else was very popular? Hitler. Yeah, you like that, huh? Hitler was very popular. Yeah. Honestly.
Is it good to have brotherhood of man? Do you see? He says, imagine no possessions. But what about his words? He says, imagine no possessions. Is it good to have no possessions? Is no
it's
need
good.
to greed or hunger?
Dude,
No
this
need
is
to
the
greed,
thing
hunger.
about musicians. Musicians are like politicians. It's all talk, 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 talk. He's like, oh, it's so good not to have possessions. But tell him, okay, Mr. Lennon, take away your limousine. What's he gonna do? He's gonna cry. Exactly. He's just talk, talk, talk. Like politicians.
Mikey, don't be so toxic.
I'm not toxic. I'm real. You know? Don't live in La La Land.
Is your country perfect? I mean,
There's no
do
such
you
thing
live
as a perfect country, man.
but maybe you can. What is your dream? Maybe you can change your country. You can make your country a better place.
Nah.
You can make your country perfect. What is impossible for you? If it is if it is possible for someone, it means
Dude,
that it is possible for you.
cannot make a country better because that would imply that you can change people. You cannot change people.
People are information beings. If we will give any perfect
people are
idea
just
to
lazy
people,
sheep. People are just lazy sheep. That's all they do. You cannot change people, man.
No, okay, what do you think? For example, in Switzerland, we can say in Switzerland, people, society is more perfect than in North Korea, for example. Yeah. Can you say that?
That's a
the
subjective
society...
statement. That's subjective. What do you think is perfect? What do you see as perfect? It's a subjective statement. What's your measurement that you use?
People are more happy. People are more happy there, maybe, yeah.
Dude, Kim Jong-un is very happy right now. Kim Jong-un is very happy, so you know.
But what about his people?
Yeah, dude,
like poor
his
people.
generals and all his people that rub his feet, you know, they're very happy. He looks after them. They're very happy fat cat, you know. Like what? Really happiness, dude. Americans, there's so many Americans and Europeans that are happy living on the street doing their drugs. Is that how you're gonna measure happiness?
Okay.
You know, like give something more concrete. You know, specify.
Gotcha. I understand what you mean. You can make a black white and white black, yeah, and you can prove that white is black and black is white. Yes?
That's what the media does, man. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay.
I mean, you can say that people in North Korea are more happy than people in Switzerland. Actually, it's like to say that white is black and black is white, because you know you cannot be happy if you are hungry. How can you be happy if you are hungry, for example? Yeah. But people are starving there. They're unhappy.
Dude, people are starving everywhere, man.
In America?
Even
Switzerland
Even Switzerland with their marble cathedrals have poverty and homelessness, and those people, they're hungry.
I don't think so. I don't think that people in Switzerland
because you live a very privileged lifestyle. Of course you don't think so, because you're privileged. You know, You went to a fancy university. You had the opportunity, the privilege to go to high school. You know, live in a house, not on the street. Of course, you don't think so, because you're privileged. You're
Do you think
biased.
do you think there are a lot of homeless people in Switzerland? Yeah, are you
Dude,
sure?
it doesn't matter. One homeless person is bad enough. Doesn't matter. One is bad enough. Because if you're gonna say, oh, Switzerland doesn't have as much homelessness as America, then what you're doing, you're comparing a poop with another poop. A turd is a turd. Doesn't matter how big it is, it still stinks. You know?
Okay, understand you. Okay, let's continue reading this book because I was reading the book of Swedenborg. And we can read verse by verse. I finished here on this page. It's about how can we create that ideal just society here on this planet Earth. Okay, I'll continue. But it is to be known that no others are here meant by those who love and kiss that religious persuasion, and in heart acknowledge and venerate it. But they who are in the same religious persuasion and acknowledge it, indeed, because they were born and brought up in it, and do not know anything of their devices and snares.
Absolute puss, Mikey.
Who said that?
Absolute what?
Tequila.
Tequila, that's a fat mute. Yeah, bye-bye.
Absolute puss, man.
I don't want to listen to some like dirty foreigners bully my language. It's disgusting. Why don't you go swear in like English or something? Don't use my language for your desecration.